Top of the morning, friends. Top of the morning, top of the evening, top of the noonday, whichever one you are in right now. You're going to look at mass production, Firecracker. There's a lot of good information for the funk in this tune, and that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to spend some time with Songmaster. Just so you know, Songmaster is now in version 5, and they do offer a trial. I don't think they did that before. You can get that linked somewhere below. But that's the tool I use, and I'll put it in the chat. Also, let's look at the funk box. I call it the funk box because so much stuff is in the box, baby. All right. E minor, G major. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that. We've talked about that before, but there's G major pentatonic. But it's also related to E minor. All right. Another, that's the real estate. That's the real estate. Let's look at it. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. I want to share something about muting, especially when it comes to thumping and plucking, slapping and popping, and why it's different on a 4-string than a 5-string. All right. So if you've seen any of my videos, you know this little trick I talk about all the time where you hold the bass and drop your thumb down like that. And somebody asked in a comment, you know, why does sometimes your thumb come over? Well, because the music is going to dictate what you need to do. The groove is going to dictate what you need to do. And sometimes that means that you need to do something different. Okay. That's the short story. Let me show you what I mean here. In this groove, first off, we're going from E to G. That's the first part. Look at this thumb over here. Now, when I come up to, which is so common in funk, this D to E hammer on, which in another part is going to be a pull off. Technically not a pull off, but a pull off would be, I gotta mute that lower string. You dig? So now my thumb is coming over and it's muting that E string. Every time I come up to play that D and E, right? I got to mute that lower string. Grooves like this are, if you really want to learn funk music, you got to go back to the source. You have to go back to the source. You don't have to. I suggest you do. Go back to the source. All right. These grooves are, it's an ostinato, meaning it is the same thing over and over and over again, right? But doing this, if you pay attention to the mechanics of your thumb. Now, I thump parallel to the string. That's how I know some people do this. I don't do that, and I don't even know how to do that. Now, That's the basics of the groove. Let's use Songmaster. We're going to use Songmaster and we're going to isolate the bass, because as I listened to it, as I've isolated a little while ago, I was like, I don't think he's thumping that the whole time. And that's going to get us into some different stuff. So let's go here. I'm going to mute out everything. Let's appease the copyright folks. Part of me thinks that it might be half thump and something else. This is what I mean. This is what I'm talking about. It could even be, truth be told, on a Music Man, which I think this is played on. You could play that finger style and still get that bite. You know what I mean? But the value in taking your time and experimenting, what happens is you start figuring out these techniques kind of on your own, because you're having to use some context clues and be curious about it, right? As opposed to watching me tell you that this is exactly the way to do it. I wasn't in the studio. I don't know if that's exactly the way it was done. But I do know that if I were in a jam session, a gig, or a recording session where somebody called the song Firecracker, I'm going to have a bunch of different ways to address that and to play that, because I'm speaking that language and I have different ways of approaching it. I hope that makes sense. So if you were going to play a finger style, just straight up finger style. Let me do it the whole time, finger style. So I'm still bringing that thumb over to mute that E string. This can still be done on a 5-string, obviously, right? But you just have those additional considerations when you are muting. Now, I'm going to tell you what I would really do, and what I'm really curious about right now is, this is the beauty behind modern the modern age that we live in. When I was growing up learning how to play bass, you had to just guess, right? But let me see, mass production, Firecracker live. Now, obviously for copyright, I can't really play this, but what I'm going to do, boom. Gosh, I got to do it with the volume down because I don't want to get in trouble with the copyright folks. But hang on, let me mute that. So here's the video. What I'm doing here is I'm like, well, look, where's the bass? What is the bass player doing? Yes, he's playing a Music Man, which was popular at the time. The sound of the era. He's thumping. Okay. But also, that's their lip syncing in that video. So, you know, is that how he recorded it? I don't know, but that's a context clue, right? Mass production live. Probably a different lineup. Not all the original players. I don't even see a bass player. What's up with that? Oh, the bass player is like, of course, it's tucked in the corner. Does the bass player get any shine? No, we can't see the bass player. Wait. Nope. Nope, can't see him. But you get my point, right? You get my point. Ah, look at that. You see that? Did you see that? This is real. Look, watch the bass player. Watch the bass player. This moment right here is worth the price of admission. There's going to be somebody that's going to miss what just happened. If you know what just happened, type it in the chat. You see the bass player's hand? Look over in this corner. Let's see if we can see the bass player again. This is not the same performance. But we only got that one little glimpse. This is the beauty of I love this age that we live in. Okay, so he's stomping there, but he's not playing the line. He's not playing the actual line. So, doing a breakdown. Let's see. I want to show you that moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about it again for cooling the game?
Okay, that's Bobby Womack. Right here, in this moment right here, we see exactly what I was just talking about. Now, whether or not this was on the recording, this is my guess. He's switching between, he's going. So those first two notes I noticed him. Now let's talk about that section. I noticed the iconic line, right? That's a part of the song. But da-da-da-da-da. I saw him just there do this. I don't like that. For only one reason, is because it feels sloppy to me the way I'm playing it right there. So what do? I find other places to play that. I can play that open A. It's really the pressure roll coming from the D to the A that I don't like. And then that feels sloppy to me. So I'm giving you my process. I'm telling you my process. Okay. I would be more inclined to do this. Because I can just rake off of that A. You see what I'm saying? Rake from the D to the A string. But I still got to bring, it's all these little micro movements that I call them micro movements that are happening, that are developed over time. And by the way, if you want weekly live calls, community focused on funk, R&B, there's a link below. You can try Groove School for 7 days for free. There are no tabs in Groove School, and that is for good reason. I don't do tab, okay? One, tab is like learning, in my opinion. Now, you do what works for you, but in my opinion, you know, learning how to read tab is like learning how to read hieroglyphics. Why would you do that when nobody communicates that way? 2, look online. Look at people, you know, posting their progress videos and things like that. They're looking at something. And if that something goes away, Nolan, I haven't seen you in so long. What's up, Tommy Hayes? If that tab goes away, they can't play. Could you imagine not being able to have a conversation unless you had a script? Well, there's that. Now, I understand that tab works for some people. I don't know any of them personally. All right. So we focus on the, and also you got to be honest with yourself. How many PDFs have you downloaded that are just digital dust on your hard drive right now? Be honest. Okay. So we're about immersion. Okay. Immersion and learning the language in a way that you can speak the language. Okay. You can go right to it and you can access it. You can access the language, and the stuff is not so foreign to you. So Groove School, you can find it links somewhere around this video, or you can go to tedtalkspace.com and click on the Groove School link. So if you've been watching here, I just was like old school, just using my ears with the help of Songmaster. And then I was like, when I isolated, I was like, I don't think he's thumping this the whole time. Okay. So a lot of things, and then I used the tools that I have at my disposal, i.e. YouTube, and say, there's gotta be there's gotta be a video of them playing it live. And there was. And sure enough, that groove, look at how simple but effective that groove is. E to G, E to G, G, E. If we're in E minor, G is the minor third of E minor. Let me say that again, because I think I confused myself. The chord E minor is spelled E, G, and B. E being the root, G being the minor third, and B being the perfect fifth. Okay? You want to go deeper into that type of stuff and really get inside that, you got to come over to Groove School. Okay? And we're going to get to the B section in a second. But now that we know that, okay? What could I possibly do if you're just learning this? Let me loop this beat right here, because I'm gonna show you a stair step you can do. Wait, let me find the right loop points. 2, 3, 4, 2. That you hear that 2-bar groove architecture, right? Some people get bored with that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff pay the bills. When you get comfortable with that, thump it. Can't get bored with that. So if you do something like that, then what you have developed is there's rhythm, right? There's technique, and, right? What do you know? You just know. Those are the notes of the E minor triad. This, you're going to hear that. If you like funk, you're going to hear that all the time. That's like in 90 and 98% of the funk tunes you ever hear. Right? It's all there. But you could sit in this. Then try to switch them. Sorry. There are times when in funk when you're gonna like whack the crap out of your bass. Not all the time though. Okay. Pick and Choose has always got great questions. Great questions with this Pick and Choose. Great screen name. Any tips on acquiring automatic sense of where intervals are in the same way we all in? Ooh, this is a good question. Let me read it out loud again because I'm slow. Any tips on acquiring automatic sense of where intervals are in the same way we innately know how to shift our voice to go just as higher or lower as we imagine? Absolutely. Absolutely. So intervals, and I think I just did something on this. So first of all, an interval is just the space between two notes. No more, no less. There are money intervals. Money intervals. The octave is one of them. The first thing is when you learn this shape, right? Sing it. When you learn a shape, sing it. Do, da, do, da. Some people use, songs like somewhere. Nah, I can't. It's early in the morning. See it, say it, sing it. So that's one money shape, octave. There's another way to do an octave if you're playing open string. Any book on slap bass that we know traditionally as thumping and plucking is going to have an exercise that looks like this. Any instructional DVD or whatever. But here's the thing, and I'm going to say this, and this is going to piss somebody off, and I don't particularly care because I'm going to just say it. This style of playing the electric bass this style of playing the electric bass is credited to Larry Graham. Whether or not Larry Graham is the first person to ever do it in real life doesn't matter. He's credited as the first person to do it. Called it thumping and plucking. This is an a style of playing the electric bass born out of the African American, the black experience. Okay? Other people started writing that down and then monetizing it. Now, I don't care if that hurts somebody's feelings. That's just what it is. Okay? And that's one of the reasons why I do not teach using tab or even standard. And I read, and I don't know, I read and write. I don't believe that there's any musician that is worse off for knowing how to read standard notation. I'm certainly better for it. Another reason why I don't do transcriptions for you is because if I sit down and I transcribe a bass line, I get the benefit of that. You don't. I do, because I did the work. Does that make sense? But if I show you how to do this, you get benefit. So back to this African American experience, this black experience, this paradigm playing the electric bass. When I say that every I don't care what it is, what DVD, everyone that I ever saw has. You know, when you start feeling them octaves out of tune. I mean, and this is it's a beautiful bass. It's an inexpensive bass. That doesn't belong to me, but I wish I did. It's on a long-term loan. That stuff was not written down. I mean, you know, somebody heard that and said, let's make an exercise out of this, right? And I just have to say that. I cannot, deny. You know what? Let me shut up, because I'm about to get on a sort of a bent here that is not my intention. But so there's the octave. Another money shape is going to be the fifth. So there's G, and there's our octave, right? And there's our money shape, the fifth. But if you saw those other videos on this thing, and I've been talking about it a lot over the last week. First finger, pinky, octave, doo-dee, doo-dee. Know it. Once you play it, say, oh, that's an octave. That's a fifth. Happens to be a perfect fifth. Now, that is the shape that is going to be used often, more often, right? But check this out. This is G, right? That is also G, an octave away. But are you going to do this? No. Right? You see what I'm saying? Notes are the stuff you need, the note you want is often closer than you think. It's usually right on your finger. So roots, octaves, roots, fifths, right? What's up, Wayne? Root, octave, root, fifth, okay? Those are both starting with the first finger, okay? Then we've got, and I'm just doing this off the top of my head. There's the minor third. So still G, G, minor third. That shape, now I see this shape and I'm like, oh. That's a minor third. It happens to be called, a minor third. Wayne just said something really interesting. So Wayne and I are from the same era, right? And he says, I would tune my E to this. What does he mean? Let's unpack that. What does he mean? This is why these streams I think are so valuable, because we can really have a discussion, right? What tune did I do that? So when I was coming up, we didn't have electronic tuners. We didn't have pedal tuners. I had a pitch pipe and I had a tuning fork. And then I learned how to tune the bass to itself. But then there would be tunes like Erotic City that had to be tuned down to E flat. Or you got a song like this in E. And so you would listen to the record and match the pitch to, you know, I don't know. It's like, let me type a one in the chat if that makes sense. So pick and choose. Did I answer your question a little bit? I actually am going to, I'm just warning you right now, that question is going to turn into a whole ass blog post or a video. I like how you said singing the interval after you know what it is, linking that association after you have. Yeah. Here's a funny analogy that I like to use. There's a guy that works at a grocery store around my house, and very nice guy. He's a very short guy. His name Pee-wee. They call him Pee-wee. I couldn't tell you what his real name is. And we always spoke. We still speak, but I never knew his name. And he didn't know mine. But we had descriptions for each other. That man who I speak to regularly is maybe about 5'5". He wears a baseball cap all the time. He's got dark skin and gold teeth and a big smile, right? So those are all of those descriptors, right? But then I had to ask him, man, what's your name again? You know how you like will interact with somebody all the time and you're like, why have I not made the effort to learn this? And so you got to figure out a way to. So I said, hey, brother, man, I'm sorry, bro. We speak all the time, man. What's your name? Oh, they call me Pee-wee, man. So every time I see that dude, you know, and I'm in the South, so we, you know, are very, you know, what's up, Pee-wee? I know that's who it is. I don't mistake him for anybody else. I don't call him anything else. So I think when you discover something on your instrument, you say, oh, that's what that is. This is an octave. Okay, so if you know this is an octave, that's the shape. Oh, this happens to be the note G. Well, if an octave is the same note, then, oh, doggone it, then that must be a G too. Oh, wow. Wait a minute. You think that I could move that somewhere else? Oh, wow. So that's an octave shape too. So you mean to tell me that if this is an A, then that is also an A? Do you see right now how much information is coming out of a funk tune? Excuse me, I just spit on my mic. Don't act like you've never done it. Do you understand what I'm saying? We keep it real around here. No edits, baby. We're doing it live. No edits. It's real life. You see what I'm saying? You mean that's a fifth? And you mean anywhere I move that, that's going to be the shape of a fifth? You mean my girl is just a fifth to the root? Wow. mean to tell me that when my girl modulates, it goes up a whole step? You see what I'm saying? Now, all these questions start to develop over time. It's just about paying attention, I think. You know, pick and choose. I sure hope this is making. I sure hope, you know, I haven't gone off the deep end on you. All right. But all this is. So we playing A sharp, B, D, raking over to the A string. Now, what I saw the bass player do on the recording, he went, but they are the same notes. You can do it. You can experiment with how you different sounds, different feels, not feels, but different sounds. Let's go to this B section, or the bridge section, rather. Her name is Ophelia. Her name is Ophelia. Me and the homies was talking the other day. We were like, you just don't meet any, Marjories these days. You'll never find a 20-year-old named Marjorie. Ophelia. Type a 1 in the chat if you know an Ophelia that's younger than 60. I have a cousin named Leroy. And Leroy is one of my favorite people on the entire planet. He truly is just, he's a genuine, beautiful cat. But I'm like, you just will not find a Leroy under 50. Now, my friend Larry did name his youngest son Cecil. And I was like, Cecil? Cecil? It's a family name. Cecil just graduated from high school a couple years ago. Had Dolores, Hazel. If there's a Dolores or a Hazel in the room, I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying. We know you're not 20. All right. Let me stop before I get myself in trouble. And Marguerite. Yeah, you're right, man. Let's look at this. Let's unpack this right here. Let's unpack. This is going to be fun. So this is the bridge section. Hazel is a good name. Doom, deep, pick and choose. You're going to get some value out of this. Boom, beep. What is the first thing I'm doing, friends? Da, deep, da, deep. I don't care if you think I'm nuts. Boom, bop. Let's stop fishing. I'm going to only touch this for a second. When I say funk and I say G major, E minor, there's G major and E minor right there. Also, here's G major. All right there, right? So I know that the thing that I'm looking for is going to be in there. It's going to be in that box. Imagine you got a box. Pause. Imagine. We do no edits on this channel. Imagine you have a box, Everybody, especially black families, but every family should have a junk drawer in their house. A drawer of just junk. But you know that there's stuff in there that you can MacGyver something else with. So you open that drawer and you need a screwdriver. Finding the right tool for the right job. Let me shut up. I know everything that I'm looking for is right here. Boy, I go from 55 to 7th grade like this. It's just the way it is. Doom. What note is that? That note is A. That note is A. In the key of G major, it is the do. It is the 2. Da 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 da. Oh, pick and choose. Here's what I suggest you do as well. When you learn them scales, and I've been saying this for years. When you learn those scales, da 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 da. Learn that shape, not only the shape. All right, Wayne. Not only the shape of the fingers, but the shape of the sound, right? Da 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 da. However you do it, it doesn't matter. You gotta have fun. But then you start numbering them. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if somebody says from 1 to 2, or from 1 to 3, or from 1 to 4, or from 1 to 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, octave. Got to not be scared to connect your voice with this. Well, I know y'all didn't think that all this information was going to come out of mass production Firecracker. We got to reverse engineer this stuff, baby. Take agency over our own learning, right? I'm not telling you not to seek out mentorship and lessons and things like that, or going over to Groove School, TEDtalksbase.com, and signing up for your 7-day free trial. I'm not saying that. I'm saying my goal is to help you get agency over your own learning and let those inclinations that you have guide you. Okay? 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 1. All right? So, 2. Now we're going to learn pick and choose. You came at the right time today, brother. Do-ba, do-da. That is a 4th. That shape is a 4th. Doesn't matter what finger you use. That shape is a 4th. From this note to this note is the shape of a 4th. And I like to have some fun with it because that's the way we learn stuff, by having fun and not trying to be so doggone serious. Okay? That shape is a 4th. So we have that. And we hear that a lot in music. And when something goes through a change, we'll hear that a lot. Bo, dee, da, dee. That's a 4th. And then another 4th. Do, dee, da, dee. Bo, ba, da, da, dee, da, 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 da. Oh my God, look at that. Dum, ding, dum, ding, Now, what I would do also is I would find out other places to play that. So we have a 4th. Our root movement starts da on the 2 of G. And then we go to the major 3rd of G, 1, 2, 3, and then we play a 4th above that. But that's only one place to play that. Doom, ding, doo, doo, ding, ding, ding. That shape comes up so much in all kinds of bass lines. Doom, ding, 4th, up to the major 3rd, and then a 4th. right? I know it sounds silly. Sunday morning. Need it like Sunday morning. I haven't played that in so long. I have not played that song. I used to play that song 3 days a week, and I can't remember the rhyme. But I know this. That line is the same. Little box. Pentatonics. Pentatonics. Anyway, dude, let's finish. Let's see what else it does. G, the root of G major. G, F, E, D, all in the same, all of these notes. So why I'm saying to know that scale shape and to know how the relative major and the relative minor are connected is because we already know we don't need to be diddly daddling anywhere outside of that. We know that everything we want is right in there. Same. There's that pattern again. Octave, 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 minor third. Octave, octave. When people refer, pick and choose always has great questions. When people refer to the interval number, does it change depending on the, ooh! And you got good questions. When people refer to the interval number, does it change depending on the scale? So suddenly, if we're in a different scale and you play 3, the semitones are different from what I drilled. Look at the shape. Look at the shape. I have to stop and address this because he's asking great questions. And all that stuff about tones and semitones and blah, 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 half steps and whole steps. Look, those are definitions are not they're not unimportant. They are, but I don't think about it. I think about shape. So if I'm in the key of G and I'm playing a third above G, the major third above G, right? But then all of a sudden I'm in the key of B flat. The major third above B flat, the shape is still the same. So I'm not even thinking about anything else. I just know that shape produces the sound of a major third. Alternately, G, here we're in G, play a major third above G on the same string. It's right there. Okay, go to B flat and play a major third above B flat on the same string. Right? I could say that is 1, 2, 3, 4 semitones. Man, my brain, I need less information than that. So I'm like, I know the shape, that shape of one string and the sound of it. So if I play, I know I've played what I did not intend to play. Right? Now, if I say play a major third above B flat on a different string, there's only one place to do that. Major third, B flat on the same string. And these shifts become natural. Promise you. All right. I hope that answered. Let me know if that answered the question. That's correct. That's correct. It will be the same shape and sound regardless of what scale you're playing. Right. Because the bass is so symmetrical and the movable shapes. You know what I mean? And notes are important. I'm not about to tell you that notes are not important, right? But what a lot of people do is they try to I gotta know all the note names. That's BS. You don't need to know all the note names right away. Let me rephrase that. They think they need to know all the notes before they can play anything. And that's not accurate. That simply is not accurate in my opinion. Okay. Nolan says, I'll just memorize the shapes then. Here's what I suggest, Nolan. Tell me this. What song are you learning to play right now, Nolan? I want to know. What song are you learning to play? We're going to delve off a little bit from Firecracker here for a second, because I think there's an important conversation that's about to happen. What actual song are you learning? And what I'm going to do, this is an open question to everybody in the chat. Okay? What I need to do is I need to pause for just a second. And what I'm hoping is that when I come back, there are some answers in the chat. All right? Because if I can get some answers, I can give you something that's going to help you. This is a question for anyone in the chat. Anyone who is currently watching this live stream, that question is for everyone here. The question is for everyone here. Right? Pick and Choose said, I got messed up the other day because I was singing numbers based on how many half steps and then realized, crap, the numbers refer to the sequence in the scale. The numbers refer to the sequence in the scale, yes. But they stay the same. Regardless of the scale. You know? Main Skin Song. What is that, Nolan? So, The House is Smoking by BT Express. Y'all gonna get me in trouble with the copyright people. Okay? Because I'm about to do something here. Boom. Boom. 𝗚𝗿𝗵𝗵𝗡 says, gotta know note names, fret number, scales, Locrian. No, dude. You ain't got to know all that. You ain't got to know all that to be learning those songs. You do not need to know all that. Nope, 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 and no. No. Does anybody remember? I'm going to get back to this because I'm going to do something and I'm going to show you. Does anybody remember a gadget called the Star Studio in the 80s? What it was a little dual cassette recorder, but it allowed you to do like some overdubbing, right? The first thing that I've said this before, first thing I ever played in public was this. I played that till my fingers hurt. Okay? I brought up the Star Studio because my grandfather, my grandpa Teddy, was he was a character. And I made a cassette of me playing that. And he took and oh man, of all the things lost in Hurricane Katrina, I wish to God I had that. But he made a little blues song on top of that. Do you think that I knew that I was playing a box pattern? Do you think that I knew that I was playing a root, an octave, a flat 7, and a 5 for 4 measures, and then going to the 4 chord for 2 measures? And then, do you think I knew all of that? No. Abso-freaking-lutely not. I didn't know all that. I didn't know that until way later. What I knew was I didn't know that until later, but I knew that I had heard that sound before and that it was called the blues. Right? And then one day somebody said, well, one day I learned, oh, that's a shuffle. Right? And it was after that I learned, well, there's different kinds of shuffles. And then after that it was, there's different ways to play that pattern. Do you understand what I'm saying? So don't let all those terminologies and stuff hold you back from playing. Okay. I want to, so, check this out. I have a tutorial on Waterfalls by TLC. I'm going to go down each one of these tunes. Those are the roots. That's the root movement, right? I couldn't tell you exactly how the recording goes. Not off the top of my head. But I could know, I can tell you that if somebody called a tune, I missed one. There it is. When sometimes I by myself and look across the water. Anyway. But what box am I in? Right? Who else we got? On My Mind by Main Skin. I've never heard of this group. On My Mind. I don't have perfect pitch. Now, the first thing I asked, what does it sound like? It sounds like minor, doesn't it? That it's got dun 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 ding down. That tells me that I'm in the key of D flat minor. Minor third, major second from this note. Minor third. So that's three notes, right? That. But the how did we get that sound? That's the staccato sound. Just lifting that pressure off. But those notes happen to be D flat, E, E flat, D flat, E flat, D, E flat, and then I would just call those notes out. But if I wanted to do this song in the key of G minor, it's still the same intervals. Root, minor third, major second from that note. Let's move it to E. Minor third, major second from that note. Let's move to C. Arbitrary, right? This House is Smoking by BT Express. This house is smoking. Boom, but don't ding boom boom. I bet that's E. Boom, but dum. Ooh, look. Look at that minor third. Boom. Let's see if I'm right. Boom. Duh. Me do do. Ba-ba-da-dum. Something like that. We've been on an hour. You see how much information comes out of just one tune? Listen, none of us learn how to speak by reading. There's no tablature for, now there are little tools that people use, right? You know, great little learning tools, but we're introduced to that step by step. Our first introduction into language is looking around, wobbly head. Mama, daddy, pay up, sucker. You know, that's our first introduction to language, long before we go to school. I feel strongly about that. You're so welcome, Nolan. How long by the Pointer Sisters? Did I know that? How long? Pointer Sisters. You were pick and choose. You were asking about intervals. I ain't never heard this song a day in my life. I do not know this song. But I know that when I found that first note, that's a B flat. It happens to be B flat. And I know that that's a minor third, which is funk vocabulary, and which is also funk vocabulary. I love that. Okay, focus, Ted. Yeah, that's a good tune. Boom. Also. Don't. I recognize that as a very New Orleans adjacent, almost street beat thing. My grandma and your grandma sitting by the fire. My grandma told your grandma we're gonna set your flag on fire. You're talking about ain't now. I go on Giacomo Fino Anane. I can't sing it. Giacomo Fino Anane. I hear that New Orleans thing. Now the Pointer Sisters are from Oakland, from the Bay Area. Now, when I moved out to the Bay Area in the 90s, I didn't even really realize how deep the connection between the Bay Area and New Orleans was. But in the 60s and 70s, there's this black exodus from the South to the North for various reasons, work being one of them. My dad's sister moved out to Oakland in the late 60s. That's how I wound up out there, because I was like, I need to get out of New Orleans or I'm going to find myself in a lot of trouble. What is that? Is the mothership landing again? You hear that? Anyway, but yeah, that connection, you know. So what I found out was like, I was like, dang, there's a lot of people from New Orleans in Oakland, and that New Orleans street beat is in a lot of things. You guys know the song Sneakin' Sally Through the Alley by Robert Palmer? That's essentially the meters playing that tune. Essentially. So anyway, we've been on here a good long time today, and it's about time for me to scoot there's a pentatonic exercise I'll leave you with. All right, friends. Hope you had fun. I did. It ain't rocket science, y'all. It's pocket science. I'll catch you in the next one. Groove School, 7 days. Free. TEDtalksbase.com. Hit the Groove School link. Peace.